back to the e-learning platform of the GS College of Commerce, Wardha. I'm Professor Humaira Kazi, and I am here today with the final year, that is BCom 6th Sem Indian Economic subject. So in the earlier videos we have seen the first unit, and under the first unit we have covered the certain aspects related with the first unit. In the today's video lecture we will discuss the next important aspects which is related with the first unit, that is the agriculture finance or agriculture credit. Okay, so we will discuss this particular chapter, agriculture finance, today. So agriculture finance, basically for fulfilling the agriculture requirement, the funds requirement is there, and these funds requirement is fulfilled via the different sources to the farmers. So in this lecture we will discuss this agriculture finance or the agriculture credit. So what is basically the need for agriculture finance? The agriculture finance is needed for the three purposes. These three purposes are the short-term loan, medium-term loan, and the long-term loan. It means that the funds requirement is for the three main time period: the short-term, medium-term, and the long-term. So when we are talking about the short-term loan, this is the loan which is provided basically for the short-term needs of the farmers. It means the day-to-day needs of the farmers, and this loan is comprised of from 1 month to up to 15 months, and particularly this loan is taken by the farmer for buying the fertilizers, for buying the seeds, pesticides, and for making the payments, wages to the farm workers. So this is the short-term loan. The next type of the loan is the medium-term loan, which is required for buying the certain capital asset, a capital asset for the agriculture purpose. These capital assets are basically what? These are basically related with the improvement which is to be made in the land. Similarly, for buying the cattle which are basically used for the agriculture purpose, for buying the other equipments which are used for the agriculture sake. So these type of the medium term loan is comprised of up to 5 years. And the next one is there the long term loan. This long term loan is the tenure of the long term loan basically comprised of 5 years to the 20 years. And this long term loan is needed for making the changes in the land, for buying the additional land. Similarly, for digging the well and such expenses which are required the more amount. So for meeting such expenses, the farmers basically resort to borrow the long-term loans. These long-term loans is again provided by the two sources, that is the institutional as well as the non-institutional. But here we will see the long-term loan is especially provided by the institutional sources, which you will see in the next slides what is the institutional and the non-institutional sources. So when we are talking about the sources of funds, the sources of funds are of two types. One is the institutional sources and the other one is the non-institutional sources. When we are talking about the non-institutional sources, these are we can say these are the private sources again, and the contribution of these sources is again significant in the agriculture finance. So the first one over there is the money lenders. Money lenders are basically the money lenders, or we can say the traders, who is a strong man in the village area, who is financially strong, economically viable. Okay, so we can include in the money lender sahukar also, the traders, sahukars. So these are the persons who provide the finance to the uh, small and the marginal farmers. But the rate of interest of these non-institutional source of finance is very high, and normally the malpractices are involved in these type of the non-institutional source of finance. So the money lenders, the second one is there the relatives. Relatives are basically the farmers' relatives who again provide the finance to the farmers. These are basically a short-term finance which can be provided by the family members. So this is available free of cost. We can say the interest is not charged on such type of the loans. So the relative is again one of the source of the finance to the agriculture farmers. Then the next one is the landlords. Earlier, these type of the big farmers or the landlords who normally possess a large land, and they are the rich farmers or landlords. They also provide the finance to the small farmers or the marginal farmers. Again, they also charge the exorbitant rate of interest for the loan which they provide, and normally they mortgage the land or the certain assets from the farmers when they provide the loans to these small and the marginal and the other farmers. So this is the non-institutional or the private sources. Then the next come the institutional sources. These institutional sources, we can say, the first one is there the government. The government is actually, government also provides the loan, but this type of the loan is basically the Takabe loan, and this Takabe loan is especially provided when the certain natural calamity develops, like the floods, and similarly like such type of the natural calamities. This Takabe loan is also provided for buying the fertilizers and the seeds to the farmers, like the drought hit area. In the drought hit areas, again this type of the loans are provided. We can also say that just because of the farmers suicide, again such type of the loan is provided by the government. And so the government is again one of the source of providing the institutional source of providing the finance to the village farmers. The second one is there the cooperative credit societies. These cooperative credit societies basically provide a large sum of finance to the they fulfill basically the agricultural finance needs. About 80% of the agricultural financial needs are fulfilled via these cooperative credit societies. These cooperative credit societies work on the three tiers basis: the primary cooperative society, then the state cooperative society or the district cooperative society, to which we can say, and the central cooperative societies. Okay, so these are the different cooperatives on this different tier basis, which provides the financial assistance to the farmers. Then comes the next, commercial banks. The commercial banks, before independence, the commercial banks contribution in the agriculture finance was negligible, but after independence and after the nationalization of the banks, the commercial banks were also developed as one of the important source of finance to the agriculture. So these commercial banks provide the short-term as well as the medium-term loans to the farmers, and for that purpose they actually mortgage the certain asset. They take the certain plate from the farmers and they mortgage it. So the commercial banks provide basically the short-term as well as the medium-term loans requirement. Then comes the next aspect, or the next important source is the regional rural banks. RRBs are set up by the government, and these also provides the financial assistance to the farmers. One of the important source or in the agriculture finance is their National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, NABARD. NABARD actually it is an apex financial institution in the agriculture field. NABARD directly doesn't provide the finance to the farmers, okay, via the different institutions. These loans are provided to the farmers. Then the microfinance is again the one of the method which is used for providing the financial assistance to these farmers. And the Kisan credit card schemes is again one of the method via that the financial needs of the farmers can are fulfilled. So these are the institutional as well as the non-institutional sources of finance. When we are talking about the agriculture finance or agriculture credit, there are again the certain problems which are related with this agriculture credit, and these are one is the lack of financing institutions. So as far as the financial institutions are concerned, again as per the requirement, as per our requirement, these financial institutions are still less in number to provide the financial assistance. So lack of financial institutions, again there is a lack of coordination among the different agencies which are working in terms of the agricultural credit. So because of the lack of coordination among these agencies, the actual borrowers and who are basically the small and the marginal farmers, they do not get the credit facility available. Then the more cost, again these loans are costly because of the rate of interest. If we are talking or we are dealing with the non-institutional source of finance, so again the rate of interest is very high, and because of the high rate of interest, the cost of loan is also become more. Loss of time and money, many times these farmers go to borrow the funds, and they do not get the money on time. So again the problem of the time and the money is there. Then the problem of agriculture warehouses in the different rural areas, what we find, the warehousing facility is not properly available. So sometimes the farmers do not get the loan, they do not get the credit facility or the finance facility to after providing the crops, because of non-availability of the warehousing, agriculture warehousing. So because of that, the problem of the finance is there. The high rate of interest, as we discussed, the more cost, the rate of interest is also high, and this high rate of interest basically make the farmers debt ridden. They are basically involved, they are basically got stuck in the debt trap. The non-availability of loan at proper time, when the money is required at that time the finance is not available. So the non-availability of loan at proper time is again one of the problem which is faced by the which are faced by the farmers. Now, what are the measures for the improvement of the agriculture finance systems? So, the one is their expansion of the institutional credit. The institutional credit can be expanded. Similarly, the commercial banks branches can be started in the rural areas, and this is actually increased tremendously. Then the different rural areas or the backward areas, in fact we find the branch of the commercial bank which are dealing with these financial needs of the farmers. Emphasis on the plate, the more and more assets can be pledged, and via the pledge the fund can be provided. Again there is a need for the coordination in the different financial institutions, okay. Then there is a need for the improvement in the quantity and the availability and time of loans. Similarly, there should be a uniformity in the credit policy which can be adopted right from the topmost level to the lower level. So the hierarchy is to be maintained in terms of the credit policy. Again, the use of credit for the productive purpose. The loan is to be provided for the productive purposes, because what happens sometimes when the loans are provided and this loan is insufficient, then this insufficient loan is actually not used for the productive purposes, but actually diverted towards the non-productive activities of the farmers. So these are the suggestions, or these are the measures which can be adopted for the improvement in the agricultural credit. So this is the topic which is related with the